Hello, students. Greetings of the day. This is Dr. M. Naglakshmi. Today, we are going to see Arnold Wesker's play The Kitchen. Right? The literary works of 1950s are seen a protest against the situation that prevailed after World War II, not only in England but outside England as well. The major playwrights of this age are Osborne, Wesker, Arden, and Pinter. The playwrights of 50s feels themselves inside the society. They are writing about the fears and frustration of the characters of their own, or even they do not share them. They can sympathize with them. Okay, to understand why these writers wrote such works, it is necessary to look back and to know the factors which are responsible for the present situation and scenario. The 20th century is a century of moral perplexity and uncertainty. The rise of the scientific spirit and rationalism led to a questioning of accepted social beliefs, conventions, and traditions. So, the wholesale criticism of the existing order from different angles and points of view, often opposite and contradictory, has increased the perplexity of the common man and has been further enhanced by the two world wars and also by the new developments in the field of psychology and politics. The gap between the poor and the rich widened. The common man discovered that they had been cheated, given false hopes, and found themselves trapped in the iron frame of the industrial society that has a distinct bias for class and hierarchy. So, in such confused and chaotic times, writers came to the rescue of common men. These writers raised a voice against the corrupt industrialist society in post World War II and after. So, Arnold Wesker is also one of those writers who has made a significant contribution to the new wave of English drama. Most of his plays illustrate the social and cultural poverty of the working class. So his continuing preoccupation with this subject is not surprising when he considers his own life before he became a playwright. His spells of employment as carpenter's maid, a furniture's apprentice, bookseller's assistant, kitchen porter, plumber's maid, farm laborer, and pastry cook gave him a first-hand experience of the working class life. His play, The Kitchen, his earliest play in 1959, is also a documentary on the lives of the working class people. So, in this play, Wesker is criticizing the meaningless and mechanical life of the contemporary working class people. So, when you remember the word meaningless, immediately you will remember the play which we have seen, Waiting for Godot. Right? It is a theatrical representation of the experience of alienation and frustration of working class in the certain aspects of the problem which have been emphasized in the Marxian analysis of alienation. Marx traces forms of alienation under capitalism to the nature of the working process, to the conditions of the private ownership under which work ceased to be the expression of the creative power of the worker. So, analyzing alienation in terms of the relation of the worker to his work, the product of his labor, To fellow workers and to the owner of the means of production, Marx explains the way in which the objects created by man acquire an independent power and rule over him. So, work becomes a kind of enslavement, and as a consequence, the worker becomes unhappy and apathetic. World is like a teacher. The statement of the play has been made by the dramatist himself. The world might have been a stage for Shakespeare, but to me, it is a kitchen where people come and go and cannot stay long enough to understand each other, and friendship, loves, and enmities are forgotten as quickly as they are made. The theatrical environment in the kitchen is of a large London restaurant, conceived as the microcosm of the industrial capitalist society, oppressive, inhuman, mad, indifferent, and omnipresent. Wesker, who himself worked for 4 years in kitchen as a cook, knows the milieu and recreates it with abundance of documentary details of kitchen routine. So this kitchen is just like this Stockholm O'Neill's the Harriet. Its area is limited, and the persons who work here consider that life inside it is not different in any way from life outside this area. So there are 30 odd characters in this play, and their personalities seem to be the product of the kitchen itself. The characters in the kitchen appear superficial and impersonal. So every character is assigned some particular job. Their depiction is valid in the context of the environment in which they work. For it is the environment which has made them superficial and impersonal. So their behavior marked by casually sparked squabbles, frayed tempers, and the inability to relate to one another in the manifest consequences of the physically oppressive routine and all pervasive continuous noise of the ovens. So there is a lack of warmth and communication gap in their relation with each other. They are least interested in each other's griefs or happiness. They work, work, and work only. They are all dissatisfied with their work, their lives, nervous about losing their job, and eager to escape the drudgery. Peter, the main protagonist, cries out in anguish. What kind of life is there in a kitchen? Is there a life? I ask you. So, all this busy routine has resulted in their alienated and monotonous life cycle. It becomes evident when Peter remarks, this mad house is always here. So, arrival of a new cook does not create any happiness or excitement in them. They are unmoved by Kevin's presence. Right? Is a new cook here? Alfredo. He didn't ask for me. So this is the thing that they don't even uh, show their excitement because they are not excited. The reason for communication gap and the lack of warmth in interpersonal relationships is that they are depersonalized. It is a place where men cannot pause to know each other because most of their time they have to pause inside the kitchen, working continuously for long hours. They do not even respond to each other's greetings. Like when Alfredo enters into the madhouse and wish good morning to Max, Max in turn reminds him the wheel is there. The job is more important than the individuals who hold it. So few in the kitchen knew that Winnie was pregnant. When her miscarriage occurs, no one stops working. In phase, she is removed so that work can continue. The incident when Hans' face is burnt is also taken casually by the staff. So even if somebody tries to be sympathetic, the idea is dismissed. Right? A waitress put some of the yellow stuff on him, so he'll live. All right, it's all over. Come on, right? This shows their dehumanization. Their acts so selfish. They hate helping each other. The new cook, Kevin, has very bad experience in the kitchen. He inquires about some dishes from chef, and chef rudely no, reacts saying, I do not know anything about it. It was my day off yesterday. See the second chef. So again, during heavy rush, Kevin needs a cutting board, but Peter snatches away in his cutting board from Kevin's hand. Kevin's outburst at this time shows their dehumanization. The workers in the kitchen are not only alienated from each other, but also from their own selves. For they do not act as one expects people to act in such situations. Their normal human impulse appears to have been inoperative. Instead, they have bad tempers and are ready to fly at each other's throat on the minutest possible excuse or provocation. As the concept of alienation is something exclusively, something abstract and more psychological than objective, and uh, does not connotate or denote anything exclusively, right? Specifically, and but the fact remains that the causes of alienation may be different in different contexts, but the effect is paralyzing the personality. So Peter, the central character, and all his associates have no vision before them. Their personalities have been molded by the environment they live in. They are also burning from inside as the burning ovens of the kitchen. All the characters seem to be unaware of their own needs. They do not want to be a part of this madhouse that is the kitchen. But still, they are here. Dimitri is a very talented guy. He has made a portable record player, but talent goes waste in this capitalist society. Even Peter, who is more determined than others to relate himself to others around him, joins the system. We see how, at the peak of activity reached during lunchtime service at the close of the first part, the kitchen sucks all personal responses into itself, and how everything becomes part of part of the brutalizing routine. During interlude, they give a thought inside their hearts and speak out their real self. At this time, Wesker has shown dramatically the humanization of their relationships. But the important point is that work in the kitchen has stopped now. So it is apparent that their workload is responsible for dehumanization of their feelings. At least Peter tries to, analyze these things. During the interlude, he encourages others to sit with him and dream. The dream sequence is the frustrated effort of these people to live themselves beyond their environment, to express their social being, and to share their sense of being with their fellow men. So, unable to respond to each other as human beings, they escape into the world of fantasy, the only world where their alienation is temporarily muted. The horror of alienation in such society is touched by Paul, and the horror is that there is a wall, a big wall between me and millions of people like him. Both of them, Peter and Paul, compare the kitchen with the modern world. The irony is that in such a capitalist society, only a person like Alfredo can boost of to me in harmony with his work. He does not interfere in anybody's work, nor does he like others interference his work. He does not question others. The only thing which fills up all the gaps on superficial level is money. Everyone consoles himself that at least they are being paid for working in the madhouse. So Alfredo declares, no, I work only for the money. Even love is paralyzed by money, power in this capitalist society. There is always a feeling of insecurity in workers' hearts about their love. Peter and Monique are in love, but still there is insecurity in their relationship. Monique enjoys her time pass relationship. She always dismisses Peter's idea of taking divorce from her husband. In her unmindful talks, she mentions happily that her husband is buying a house for her. Right? Money has promised we shall soon have our own house. That is Monty, that Monique husband. So Wesker depicts not only the alienated lives of the working class people and the environment in which they live, but he goes further and explores how the power holders too are alienated. Marango, the boss, whom Alfredo hates, is the typical bourgeoisie's proprietor who has made his kitchen synonymous with his existence. His life is also full of monotony and sense of alienation. He is an old man without any emotional bondings. Peter refers to him as the restaurant. He is unwilling to understand the plight of the workers. Right through the play, we are kept reminded of the workers' hatred for Marangu, the boss, and of the traditional conflict between workers and the system. His reactions toward any mishappening in the kitchen are very mechanical and emotionless. So when Hans' face is burnt, Marango comes to inquire about him. Chef remarks behind him. Much he cares, it interrupts the kitchen, so he worries. So Marango's use of words like sabotage shows his cunning materialistic attitude. All the cooks use different words to describe Marango's personality. Peter refers to him as bastard man. So that how we come to know about Marango's capitalistic attitude and its effects upon his workers from the workers of the kitchen itself. So the whole point of the play is that if a man's work is waste, as it is under the capitalist system, he becomes alienated from his universal social being. The tension he experiences in his work derives from the inner conflict between what he wants to be and what he has become because of what he is doing. Peter tries to infuse into his work a sense of joy. He tries to become himself and to encourage others to do likewise. But the unfriendly atmosphere of the kitchen, with its constant humming of the burning ovens, like their burning hearts, reminds him of the total loss of dignity and freedom. In sheer frustration, he accesses the gas lines, bringing the oven to a halt, trying to assert his sense of dignity. So that this incident of great dramatic importance, it is a violent physical gesture which was repressed by Marango's capitalist system for long. His violent act should have aroused some feeling of sympathy to the heart of capitalist boss Marango. But nothing changes. Marango as expected, however, can only respond. And the question that is raised, that what is that something more, needs to be answered. Something more does not lie merely in tidying up this particular kitchen so as to provide creative cookery. Finally, the kitchen stands for the industrial capitalist system, and the problem of the cooks is the problem of the whole working class in the system. In the kitchen, Arnold Wesker critically analyzes the causes and the effects of alienation on the working class people. The effects of alienation have left them totally dehumanized and emotionless. This is a very interesting play, two-act play. So you can read the play to enjoy your own. Right? This is a paper written by Dr. Vandana Goyal, Alienation in Wesker's play, The Kitchen. So from this paper, it is useful for you to understand the layers of meaning in this play. Thank you guys. See you in the next lecture.